Yeah, the frustration of recording the entire episode and then realizing that the sound was gone again for some reason. Yeah, that hurt. But yeah, we're just gonna try to remember everything that I said, which was a banger episode. If anybody was curious, but we're gonna go ahead and go back through everything. So yeah, welcome to episode 2 of You're a Bad Trader and I Can Prove It, a series where I walk you all how to make good trades, how to make competent trades, and most importantly, how to just not do stupid stuff, which people have been struggling with. The key things about it are just to learn. Again, this is my opinion. You don't have to follow it. But this is a good general guide on what you should do and how you should trade. I'll be objective as best I can. The truth is, it's like if everybody traded in the manner that I'm going to be speaking about, it would be better for the league. That's the truth. Not in all cases, but in most cases, it would probably be for the best. So take that into consideration. Make good choices. This episode is going to be talking about when you should make a trade. If you have not watched the first video on how to evaluate players, go back and watch that first. There's a reason that I've made them in this order, and it is specifically because that's how people mess up. People, the first thing that they get wrong is how to evaluate players. They'll offer 2 firsts for Nikola Jokic, and they'll be like, "Oh, I don't know why he didn't accept it." Like, shut up. The second thing people get wrong is they just want to make trades all the time, and they don't actually know when they should make a trade, which is what this episode is talking about. So you got to know when you want to make a trade, and before you can send a trade or evaluate a trade, you have to understand those 2 core principles first. Then you can talk about how to evaluate a trade and then how to send a trade. And that's why I've made this series in the order that I did, and you should watch it as the order suggests. Okay? Cool. See, that wasn't painful, that wasn't sad, it wasn't obnoxious, I wasn't mansplaining, I was just telling. I was just teaching. That's what this is. This is a teaching moment. And I have things to learn too. I'm just walking you guys through the right process. Anyway, so this episode is about when you should make a trade. And there is this common misconception in the league right now that you should just be trading all the time. That there always has to be some kind of movement on your roster, whether you're trading away your guards and getting 15 of them, or you got to have no picks or all the picks or whatever. First off, stop doing that. I don't like this misconception. And the reason I don't like this misconception is very, very simple. You don't have to constantly be making trades. You are a fantasy basketball team. You're not a teenage girl swapping out her clothes every 15 seconds. You can wear one outfit. It's okay to wear one. You should be wearing one outfit. The black pants do not look good with the bright pink shirt and the red heels and the brown glasses and the burgundy hat. Doesn't look good together. It might if you give it like 3 weeks and like that's all you wear, and people are like, okay, well, I guess that's just their style. Like, people will get used to it. You'll get used to your team, your clothes, but not if you're constantly switching it out. I mean, my goodness. And the other issue is people think that they just need to make all the trades and then they trade exclusively for value. They think that they're always upgrading their roster, but in reality, they have 5 point guards on their team. Why? They're trying to run Steph Curry at the 5. Josh Hart's playing a little bit of 4. You got, I don't know, you got Trae Young trying to be a small forward. Like, it does not work. It does not work. You don't need to constantly be making trades, and that's why we're talking about this next. because it's great to evaluate trades. It's great to send trades. But if all you're doing all the time is just looking at every single trade that comes across and you don't have the like good trades may be sent to you, and an appropriate response is, you know what? Maybe now it's just not the time to trade. Like that's okay. It's okay sometimes to say, you know what? I'm going to put a pause on this. I want to see what my team looks like in the future. Which is actually the very first talking point that I have, which is when you should make a trade. Like literally time period when you should make a trade. And usually there are 3 great times to make a trade. And you should pretty much stay around these times. You can trade throughout the season for sure. But typically these are the 3 best times to make trades. Number 1 is before the season begins, where you're setting up your roster. You're trying to make sure everything's evened out. You got enough centers, small forwards, guards, utility. Like your depth is where you want it. Picks if you have them, draft. Like all of that is, you want that pretty much set in stone before the season starts. And then don't touch it. Stop making trades on day 1 of the season. Don't do that to yourself. Unless there's a guy that you really, really like. They're like, oh my gosh, I think he's finally having a breakout year. Fine. Pick him up, I guess. Aaron Gordon had 50 on the first game of last season, and nobody's telling me that he's having a breakout season last year. So, be careful when you do that, but fine, whatever. If you want to do that, do that. Just be careful. The second time that you should make a trade is around 2 months into the season, where you look at your team and you say, oh my goodness, I don't have any money on this team that is actually worth anything. That's when maybe you pivot, you start selling off some stuff, sell them to contenders or whatever you want to do with it. Or maybe you're in the exact opposite side of it and you're like, oh wait, I didn't realize that my guys were ready. Like all of a sudden I've got like 3 top 40 guys and all of a sudden like my team makes so much sense. Sure, maybe it's time to start trading for some assets and like become a contender. That's great. But you're not going to know that on day 1. Nobody knows that on day 1. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander could get hurt day 1 of next season. That's why you don't make trades all throughout, because you don't know if you're contending yet or not. Everybody wants to pretend that they have it all together or they figured it all out. Your entire roster could be hurt 2 weeks into the season. You've traded away all of your assets, which means that you have a dead year. Stop making trades. Take a breather, pause, and calm down. Like people act like they have aneurysms every time they see the little someone has proposed a trade to you. Like, oh my gosh, I swear people are throwing their cats through windows and like setting people on fire. Like, oh my gosh, I need to take a break right now. I need everybody to take a break. Like putting guns to people's heads like, I can't talk to you right now because I just got a trade offer. Stop it. Just stop it. You don't got to be extreme. You don't got to go crazy. If you get a trade offer, look at it, say, huh, that's cool. I got a fantasy basketball trade offer. Your life is not over. Your life is not beginning. Your life as it is the exact same. Your quality of life will not diminish if you lose a trade. Okay, maybe a little bit it'll decline, but that's only if it's a really bad trade, so just don't do that. Anyway, take a chill pill, wait 2 months into the season, and just say, okay, so this is what my team looks like. And you'll know, because about 2 months into the season usually is when everybody's pretty much where they're at. You know how good people are going to be, you know if people are going to regress, progress, stay the same. You understand it. And therefore you understand your needs as a team. Your needs are going to shift as the season goes on. That's okay. That's natural. It's good. These things happen. So just be ready for it. So 2 months into the season, and then right around the trade deadline, do another check-in, see what your team needs. Make a trade if you can or want to, and then go on your day. Like, it doesn't have to be every single day I'm looking to make the next trade. Start working on the league would be so much better if everyone stopped just trying to make trades and they just started thinking, is this the right trade? Because there are plenty of good trades that I've seen that went through that make no sense for the team that made the trade. Like, no sense. Like trading for the 5th center. He could be like the 3rd best center in the league. But now you have 5 centers? Really? That's what you want to do? You want just to overload your front court? Really? It's not even a guy that you can play at power forward and center. He's just a center? Really? That's what you want to do? I think maybe that's a bad idea. It's probably a bad idea. And yet you're going to look at me and you're going to say, oh, but that's a great idea. Yeah, for sure. That's a great idea. No. It's not a good idea. And I'll tell you why. Because, and this is, again, the next talking point. Because why you make a trade is important. You should not be accepting a trade just because it was sent to you. Or because you win the trade. Especially going into the season. Fit is so important. People don't talk about this at all. And I'll give you an example. Odin, last year, he was the champ. Every single person on his roster was so perfectly put on that team, down to the utility. He never had a guy he had to bench because he wanted a better guy in there. He had a perfect roster. It was so well calculated and thought out. He had planned for injuries and rotation people to be moved around. He understood all of that, and he made trades that made sense for his team. He built around a guy with Jokic. He traded for guys like James Harden, Drew Holiday. He made good moves, and then he stayed with them, right? Like, he made good moves and then stuck with them. And that's the key part, where he traded for fit. And that's what's best. That is the truth. That is what is best. If you aren't trading for fit. Now, there are some exceptions to fit. Like, look, if I'm getting like an insanely good offer and I lose out on the fit, but it kind of makes sense. Like, if I really need a power forward, but I'm being offered another shooting guard, but the shooting guard's like Anthony Edwards, and I get to upgrade. Look, Anthony Edwards doesn't become available every single day. That's the truth. Would it hurt my heart to give up whatever assets I'm giving up and not getting the position I need? It would. But the opportunity has presented itself. And in that case, fit does not take precedence over it. Now, if I'm trading for bench depth, especially like bench depth or like your 6th, 7th man, you really, really, really want to make sure that you are like making trades that make sense for you. If you have a depleted front court and you're making trades for your back court again and again and again, it's a bad move. Because you're going to get halfway through the season and realize, I can't seem to win anything right now. And then you look at your front court and it's Nikola Vucevic and Neemias Queta, and you're like, well, they're putting up a collective 20 fantasy points a week, and they miss every other week. Maybe I should trade for a center. And then you're like, oh, I have this revelation moment. Like, no, I'm telling you now, you don't have to wait till then. You don't have to be stupid. You can make good moves. You can do that. I believe in you. You can do that. But do it when it makes sense. Do it for fit. Right? Make the moves that make sense, especially for your 6th, 7th man. Just general rule of thumb. Don't overload one side or the other, especially if you've got like really injury prone guys. Like if you're somebody that's like championing Embiid, for instance, he's going to be great when he's on the court for, the 30 games it gives you a year. So get a good backup center. He doesn't have to be crazy, but get a good one. That's going to help you because that is for fit. You understand your team. You understand your team needs. So you trade and make a good move for fit. That's what you want. That's good. That's healthy. That's what builds a championship caliber team. Fit. People don't talk about, people want to say, oh, well, he's got all the best assets and oh my gosh, I don't know how anybody's going to beat him. By having a better fit. I'll say that with a straight face because it's true. You might have all the talent on your roster. If you have 5 point guards on your team that only play the point guard position and they're all top 5, I would take a roster with only top 40 players. And I will beat you because you cannot put every point guard on your starters at the same time. You will kill your team. You will kill your bench depth. You will absolutely kill your title chances because it is not about this big hoofla of like, I have 5 stars, how can I be beaten? It is about having a comprehensible team. Now we're going to go to the next move, which is out of necessity. This is the second big point. Now, necessity, really what that means is when you're getting to the trade deadline and all of a sudden, oh no, I'm having a championship caliber season. I've only lost like 3 weeks the whole year. But my power forward is out now. And he's been really, really good for me. And he's been great. But he's going to miss the season. Now you got to make a trade for necessity. Because you want to be, if you can, contend. Stop with all these stupid rebuilds. Every single team you're seeing is rebuilding. Like, oh, I got to get all the picks. Oh, I got to get all the rookies. Oh, I got to get all the sophomores. Just contend. It gets more fun like that. Because there's also an art to contending and like picking the right games to lock in. Like know your team. That's also another reason not to make so many trades all the time. You're not going to know your players. Like, should I lock that game? Maybe. But how would you know? You traded for him last week and you're probably going to trade him this week. So cool off on that. But out of necessity, a lot of times that's for like injuries or like a severe need that you didn't realize you had early in the season. Maybe a guy regressed or he's just not playing well now. So now all of a sudden you need a center. And you didn't at the start of the season, but now you do. So now it's necessity. Sometimes that means giving up more than you'd like. Sometimes that's when those first round picks, you got to start coughing them up. Might come out with some blood. You might vomit. Might be really gross and disgusting. But sometimes you have to. Because when it comes down to necessity really only applies to championship caliber teams to address a very specific need. That is what necessity means in regards to when you should make a trade. And if you're a championship caliber team and I see like, say Julius Randle misses the rest of the year and you really need somebody to fill that void, if I don't see you package him with like 2 first round picks and go out and get like anybody who could fill that spot for the time being, I'm not going to lie, I would be clowning you in every video because you had an opportunity and you gave it away for like a 35-year-old Julius Randle. Don't do that. Do not be the Warriors this year and hold on to Jimmy Butler. Trade him. Trade him and some assets. Go get a star. Go get somebody. You don't have to be bad. Excuse me. Anyway, the next thing, and this is the thing that can slightly trump either of these two on when you should make a trade, and it is for value. Now, we have a lot of anti-fleecing rules, and we have vetoes and all of that. But look, if you get sent an offer and you clearly win it, I mean, it's not even close, you clearly win it, but it's not really vetoable. Like, people could look at it and say, oh, there's a case to be made. I mean, there's not really a case, but you get the point. It's okay to take the trade. Should you do that every single time? No, you shouldn't, because it's not good for the overall health of your team, for the league, etc. But everybody gets those offers from time to time. So the best thing to do is usually not to take them, but there's going to come a time when you look at it and you're like, oh, I can't turn that down. I can't turn that down. So don't. Pick it up. Just accept it and live with it. Sometimes it's okay to do that. The truth is, it is for the best that you build a team that makes sense. But long-term value is really hard to pass up on, especially if you're not a contending team. If you're a contending team and it makes sense for you, maybe. But more so, this is for teams that are not contending. Unless it makes sense for the contender. But even if it doesn't make sense for like a bad team, they can convince themselves that this is going to help them long term. So just be mindful of it. But 9 times out of 10, that's really not what you want to do if you're a contender. Anyway, that is when you should make a trade or accept a trade. A lot of this is based off time. It's based off your team construction, your roster. Look, 9 times out of 10, it's less about making a trade to make a trade. It's not about that. It's about making a trade that makes sense for you at that moment. Preseason, you can kind of make a bunch of moves, and that's fine. 2 months in, you don't really want to make too many moves, maybe some adjustments. Trade deadline, that's where you are making your final moves to maybe contend. That's not the time that you want to look and say, well, I guess I could blow my team up here. Don't do that. Make good trades. Make good moves. That is all for this episode. The next episode is going to be how to evaluate a trade. If you want, send me trades for review. I might do a few of those reviews or use them as examples. This is going to be strictly on how to evaluate a trade, not how to send or talk about them with people. This is going to be on how to evaluate them. So send them in group chats or in the general chat. Reach out to Josh Pett. He's the owner of the league for information. This is Poseidon. This is the second episode of You're a Bad Trader and I Can Prove It. Tune in to the first episode and tune in to the other 2 episodes to follow, which will be posted on Thursday and Saturday of this week. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a blessed day.